Let me say this first. This Christmas guide for writers, it wasn't my idea. It was the idea of 58 Keys viewer. Can I even pronounce the name? Thank you, YY. Yeah. I realised actually after you said it, I did one last year. But A, I obviously forgot all about it. And two, wherever you are, economies are harder this year, aren't they? So let's do a new one. Let me do this actually. This is a guide to 10 presents for writers, and each one costs under £150 or dollars. I really tried to make it under 100, and you'll see I failed. But actually, you know, some of them are on. Yeah. Let us also actually work together and do this. Let us together, you and me, accept the fact that we are allowed to buy ourselves presents from time to time. I'm not going to judge if you buy the lot. For me. Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which, as ever, as always, is for writers like you and me who use and do write on Macs and iPhones and iPads. Do subscribe and find the bell thing you're supposed to click, because there's just so much to talk about. There's always so much to talk about. And actually, this time, probably need to talk a bit quickly, because Black Friday is coming, and that's really the reason for doing a Christmas guide so early. It's only early if you're watching this when it first goes out in November 2022. If you're not, well, you've missed Black Friday. You may even have missed Christmas. I don't think you can put that on me, though. Okay, how about this? Even if you don't watch this as it first goes out, you've stumbled across it in a year's time or something, well, the items that I want to recommend, I think, I'm sure actually I will still want to recommend. Or maybe, you know, there'll be January sales coming up, all sorts of things. But whatever it is, the prices that I tell you in this are as they are today as I record this, which means actually they don't include any Black Friday discounts, Amazon Prime sales, or anything like that. So at worst, then, you'll know what they still cost. And at best, you'll see this in time to find bargains in some sales somewhere. Actually, I'll tell you what, if you're really in a hurry, skip this video, check the description for all of the links. I need to tell you, some of them are to Amazon, and you know how this works. If you buy through Amazon, then Amazon, it kind of waves at me a bit. Yeah, but let's get on. In fact, actually, let's get on in alphabetical order. Oh yes, because I couldn't think of any other sequence. A would be for AirPods. They're great. AirPods. You put them in your ears. It's like the whole world is full of music, and sometimes I need that when I'm writing. I need it to help me concentrate, although actually, equally, sometimes it gets in the way. I don't know where it comes. But whenever it does help, whenever I can use them, AirPods it is. At the moment, Apple is selling what are called the second generation AirPods from £139 or $129. There is a third generation, which is one better, and that costs £179 or $169, although that's obviously more than the 150 limit I set. 170 odd is more than 100. Look at the quality of information you get from it. Anyway, all right, I tell you, actually, yeah, let's burst budget some more. And the very first thing, I said that the world is full of music, but if you do spend more and get AirPods Pro, which I have, the world can also be very nicely silenced. AirPods Pro have noise cancelling, and they cost £249 or dollars at the moment. Expect that price to go up in the UK, because everything's going up in the UK. A would also be for Apple TV, and this is so confusing if you don't already know. Okay, like, you know, there's Apple TV Plus, which is the streaming service which makes shows like Slow Horses, Severance, films like Coda. All of this actually really, really great drama. There's also then an Apple TV app, which is how you watch Apple TV Plus on Macs and iPhones and iPads. But then there's also an Apple TV. Strictly speaking, it's now called an Apple TV 4K, and it's this thing. You can touch it. I plugged one of these into our living room TV set, and it took a while, but over time, it's become the thing we turn on first. We watch everything through this Apple TV. And it's particularly worth mentioning now because it's just had a price cut to £149 or $129. That's for a version that stripped out a couple of features that I don't need. You might look into it, but it's cheaper and they are very good. B is for, no, okay, look, this is alphabetical order, but it's only 10 items, okay. Let's spend a B, though, on The Blank Screen. It's my own book. It's actually my own book about how writers like you and me can make more time to write, which I figure is all we really need. I vividly remember, actually, I was on a bus. I was going to see my mother. While my head, it was full of this short play I was writing for the Birmingham Rep, the major theatre company near me. Also a Doctor Who radio drama I was writing at the time for Big Finish and the BBC. And a 150,000 word non-fiction book. The deadline was coming. It was all happening at the same time. And I'm on this bus and a bit tense at first, pop the AirPods in, yeah. But actually it's amazingly relaxing. No, this is before AirPods. What in the world did you do before AirPods? Tense at first, but it relaxed after a bit because someone else is doing the driving, aren't they? I can just watch the world go by, and you can contact me on the phone, but nobody's going to on that Saturday morning. So I just wandered around in my head, and what I realized was that if there had been a book to handle writing a lot of things at the same time, juggling, and also if there were a book about what to do afterwards when you've delivered everything and now suddenly you have nothing to write, well, I would read a book like that. By the time I got off that bus, I'd written the first 1,000 words of the book on my iPhone. And actually that book has been the springboard for 40 or more workshops I've run. I should do one online. I'll tell you the next one I do one online. The Blank Screen, Productivity for Creative Writers, costs, well, actually the costs all over the place. I just looked this up. Who controls these things? On Amazon, you can get a Kindle version for at most $10, usually a bit less. And the lovely paperback seems to be around 15-ish, depending on when the wind's in the east. I don't know. C is, no, there you go. HomePod Mini, skipping ahead here. There's actually a lot about music today, isn't there? I do really like being able to walk into my office here where I've got some of the original large HomePods, or actually, maybe even better, go into my living room where I've got a HomePod Mini and just say aloud, hey, Iris, play me something I'll like. And away off it goes. You can't get the original large HomePods anymore, by the way, but the HomePod Mini costs it's down to £89, still $99. Hand on heart, the only reason I don't think that's as close as Apple ever gets to an impulse buy is that I would now spend an age picking which colour I wanted. Kindle Paperwhite. This is an e-reader, and since I finally bought one for myself, back at the end of, it would have been March 2022, I counted just a minute ago, I've read 30 books that I probably wouldn't have got around to. No way, actually one of them was a hardback. Completely separate. Richard Osman's The Bullets That Missed, one of his, the Thursday Murder Club series. Do try this if you haven't. You can get it on Kindle too. Kindle Paperwhite itself, the hardware device, it costs £140 or $160. Both of which, though, by the way, are the version you get without ads. Don't do the version with ads. I don't care if this is for you or for someone else you don't like. No ads. If you're in the UK, though, look first at Kindle Paperwhite for Kids. You get it and you have to undo the kid bit, which, you know, you're setting up your account. I'm an adult, takes a minute. But otherwise, for the same price as the regular Paperwhite, well, you get certain child features like certain children's books, which is quite interesting. But you also get a free case worth about £30. I don't know why at this moment that doesn't appear to be available in the States, because that's where it was first, but at the minute, that's the case. Next, get yourself a keyboard. Buy another writer a new keyboard. Yeah. Look, I suggest, there's so many, but I suggest the Logitech K380, which is around £40 or dollars, depending on where you buy and what mood Amazon's in, I don't know. Many other keyboards are available. But in this case, actually, I haven't used the current K380, but I've used previous versions of it, and I've actually given some of those away as presents. Plus, particularly, I like the feel of it. That's what matters the most. But you can use this one keyboard with your Mac, your iPhone, and your iPad all at the same time. You just tap a button to switch between them. So where was I? I was working in a cafe or something, writing on it and onto my iPad, and there was my phone on the table next to me. Text message came in, I tapped a button, typed the reply, hit send, back to it. Apparently made the other person jump at how much and how fast I'd written. That was bonus. Next, MagSafe, a battery charger for iPhone. A bit tricky this. If you have an iPhone, you would like its battery to last longer. If you have an iPhone with MagSafe, so that's the iPhone 12 range, iPhone 13 range, the new iPhone 14 range, and presumably also ones into the future, then you can slap a battery pack on the back magnetically. I was going to recommend to you, actually more than that, I was actually going to buy one called an Anker 622 MagSafe battery charger. This one, and just like all such MagSafe battery chargers, your iPhone battery is low, fine. You snap it onto the back and it wirelessly charges up. Okay. The cost for that Anker one was around £50 or dollars, but again, constantly on sale. Don't know what is going on with prices, just when I want to tell you something. What makes me slightly hesitate about recommending that one to you, and actually which stopped it for me, is that for some reason, and who knows why, that particular Anker thing only works with the iPhone 13 or 14 ranges. My wife has an iPhone 12 Pro that I gave her, so I know what it's like. I know it won't work with that. I don't understand why it won't, but I know that it won't. Since I think we're actually likely to just share this, get one of these battery chargers, share it between us. We're both going to need a bit of topping up of charge when we're out. I instead went for Apple's own MagSafe battery pack. But you know, I said the prices are all over the place just because I was trying to tell you and look it up. Well, it wasn't Amazon giggling away, or maybe it was, but normally that Apple one costs $100 or £100. And this time though, and again, I don't know why, when I went to check the price so I could tell you, Amazon UK was selling it for £79. So thank you very much. That is actually what tipped me over the edge in the end. Next, and the first software present in this list. I love this, and I've only wanted you to wait this long because of this alphabetical order, which I don't know was a great idea. But if you don't already have it, buy Omni Outliner Essentials for Mac for $20, or $20 for the joint iPhone iPad version. Omni Outliner, it is for outlining stories, I suppose, but I use it constantly, I mean daily, for planning out ideas, articles, events. In fact, actually, I planned out this list of 10 in Omni Outliner. Although, I should say, I use it so much that I let's go for it, 3 times long ago, went for the Omni Outliner Pro version, which is $25 on iPhone/iPad and $100 on the Mac. Coincidentally, second software, but it's second out of 3, by the way, Scrivener. It's a word processor, I suppose, but someone, quite possibly the makers, have described it as being a writing studio. Yeah, I think that's right. It sounded a little poncy at first, but yeah, it fits. The thing is, it's got all of the tools for writing, in fact, typing, but it's also got all the tools for managing that writing. So Scrivener can store all your research, for example, in the same document. Drag in PDFs, scripts, other documents, websites, URLs, I don't know. Everything goes into the one document, it's just there, waiting for you, always on tap for it. Also, possibly my favorite bit, Scrivener lets you, it lets you see your whole book, yeah, but in a flash, it can be showing you only the bit that you are writing now. So just chapter 11, please. Or maybe you got a problem with it, a character, something's going wrong, and you just need to see how you've handled it in chapters 7 and 17. Dottle, side by side, one atop the other, whatever you like. Scrivener costs $60 for the Mac and $24 for the separate joint iPad iPhone version. Last of the 3 softwares, and officially the last recommendation I've got for you too, Setup. This is a subscription service for Mac apps. So buy someone else a year's. Are you just going to leave this video around for people you know to just casually see? I'd be all right with that. Get them to subscribe too. Speaking of subscribing, a year's subscription to Setup gets you or them over 230 full Mac apps. You know, I mentioned Essentials and Pros and things. Well, OmniOutliner isn't in this, but there's lots of apps where they just put the Pro version in. It is the full version of the Mac. There's no trial, no limitation kind of thing. There is some padding in that list of 230 apps, and actually there's a little repetition as well, but you are certain to find enough apps to be worth the cost. I need to say, speaking of money and things like that, Setapp has never sponsored 58 Keys. I mean, nobody has ever sponsored it. I'm not 100% sure what I'd do if they wanted to, but Setapp did once give me 2 Setapp subscriptions, annual subscriptions, to give away as a prize, and I can tell you the winners were very happy with that. Setapp is a company based in Ukraine, and they charge the service in US dollars, which means for the year it works out at $107.88, or about £97. It's actually $9.99 per month if you buy monthly, or $8.99 per month if you pay annually. That's how the numbers work out to 107 or whatever. It is maths. Yeah. Listen, that is it. That is my list of 10 Christmas gift recommendations for writers under £150 or dollars. The gifts are under 150, not the writers. But if I could do one more thing, that's, I mean, way over the 150, I'd like to just recommend, if you can, look at the Apple Watch. The cheapest at the moment is the Apple Watch SE, which costs from £259 or $249. And is good, but there's the Apple Watch Series 8, which starts at £419 or $399. The Series 8 comes in 2 sizes, a wee one and a slightly less wee one. You know those prices are for the smallest, the weeer one. Actually, Series 8, that's what I would buy, except I have a Series 7 from last year, and I know what this is like. I'm sure I will buy another one, but it'll probably be the Apple Watch Series 15 or something. It's going to be many more years before I want to swap over to something else. In the meantime, that's it actually for this edition of 58 Keys. Now, thank you very much for watching. Happy really early Christmas / Black Friday. Now take care of yourself, eh? Write more too, and I'll see you soon.